All right, so you're thinking about opening a restaurant in Dubai.
Exciting stuff.
We've got this guide to restaurant locations. And wow, there is a lot to unpack.
It's pretty comprehensive.
It really is.
Yeah.
Whether you're, just starting to dream about this or you're already out there scouting for spots, we're diving deep into this guide because honestly, there are some real golden nuggets in here.
Yeah, lots of insights for sure.
And Dubai is, well, it's its own animal, right?
It has its own unique market, that's for sure.
Yeah. And one of the first things that really jumped out at me in this guide is just how important location is in Dubai.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not just talking about like foot traffic, although that's obviously a factor.
Right.
It's about understanding how that location is going to impact, everything.
It impacts everything from, like you said, your brand perception, the kind of clientele you're going to attract, your pricing, even down to your menu in some cases.
So it's not as simple as like find a spot with lots of people walking by and you're golden.
Oh, not at all. Think about it. If you've got a really high-end, let's say, seafood restaurant, right? And they're in Dubai Marina, the rent is probably astronomical, but they can charge a premium for their dishes because the clientele there expense a certain experience.
Right. They're catering to a specific crowd.
Exactly. But put that same restaurant, same menu, same prices in a quiet residential neighborhood, it's just not going to fly.
No, it's like trying to sell ice cream in a blizzard. It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
So speaking of finding the right fit, Dubai has a really diverse population.
Oh, incredibly diverse.
How do you even begin to choose your target customer when you have so many different tastes and preferences to consider?
You've hit on a really crucial point. Dubai is a melting pot, which is fantastic for a lot of reasons.
Right.
But it also means you can't be everything to everyone. And this guide, it does a really good job of breaking down those key demographics. You've got expats, tourists, locals. And each group, they come with their own dining habits, their own expectations.
So what works for an expat crowd in, say, JLT might not fly with a more traditional Emirati crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all about knowing your audience.
And choosing a location that aligns with that target market. That's key.
Okay. I have to ask about the tourist hotspots.
Of course, yeah.
Because on the one hand, you've got this city that has year-round tourism.
It's a huge draw.
So it seems like a dream for any restaurant.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
But then the guide also kind of throws out this term tourist trap.
Well, there's a reason for that.
So what's the deal with these tourist-heavy areas?
Honestly, they're a bit of a gamble.
Okay.
Because, yeah, you've got that constant flow of potential customers, which is what every restaurant owner dreams of, right?
Right, yeah.
But you're also facing insane competition.
I bet.
And the rents. Don't even get me started.
So just because you snag a prime spot next to, like, the Burj Khalifa, that doesn't guarantee you success.
Not even close. You need more than just a fancy address. You need a hook, something that makes your restaurant stand out from the crowd.
Because imagine, you're a tourist. You've got limited time.
Right, you're on vacation.
You're surrounded by what feels like a million restaurants. Why pick that one?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's where a really strong brand, a unique concept, even something as simple as glowing online reviews.
Word of mouth is huge.
It can make all the difference. So if you're even considering a touristy area, you've really got to ask yourself, what makes my place unmissable?
I love that. What makes your restaurant unmissable?
Yeah.
That's such a powerful question.
It is.
And it actually leads me to something else I wanted to ask you about. Something that I think is often overlooked but is so crucial in Dubai.
And what's that?
Convenience.
Oh, tell me about it.
Because I've spent my fair share of time battling Dubai traffic.
We all have.
And easy access to a restaurant.
It's a game changer.
It is essential.
Yeah.
It's not a luxury, it's a necessity.
100%.
You know, it's funny because we always talk about location, location, location.
Right.
Maybe we need to amend that to be location, convenience, location.
I like it. Because you want to make it as easy as possible for people to give you their money, essentially.
To dine with you.
Yeah. And while Dubai is a very car-centric city, don't underestimate public transport.
Oh, for sure.
Even walkability, depending on where you are.
It all depends on who you're targeting.
Exactly. If you've got a fine dining spot in Jumeirah, valet parking is probably a must. But if you're a more casual place near the metro in Business Bay, you're going to attract a different crowd.
Completely different. It's about knowing your customer and knowing your location and how those two things interplay with each other.
They go hand in hand.
You want to make it easy for people to say, This place is so easy to get to. I'm definitely coming back here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's say we found our perfect location. It's got great access. It's perfect for our concept. Now we got to talk about the less glamorous side of things.
The nitty-gritty.
The costs.
Yes.
And I'm not just talking about rent here, although that's obviously a biggie. But the guide mentions some hidden costs that I think a lot of people don't even think about when they're opening a restaurant.
Yeah.
What are some of those hidden gotchas we need to watch out for?
Oh, you've got fit-out costs.
Okay.
Licenses.
Right.
Service charges, which can be killer in some places.
Yeah.
Dubai municipality fees. It adds up so fast.
Wow.
And here's something else to keep in mind. Even if you find a location with lower rent, like maybe it's in an up-and-coming area,
Right.
the fit-out costs for what they call a shell and core space can be massive.
Because you're basically starting from scratch.
Essentially, yeah.
So it's like a trade-off. Lower rent might mean higher upfront costs.
Precisely. You have to do your due diligence.
You really do. And speaking of doing your due diligence, I think this is where some first-time business owners in Dubai, they kind of get tripped up.
I can see that.
They get so focused on the logistics, the numbers,
The practicalities.
yeah, that they forget about a really crucial element, and that is the human element.
You're talking about the cultural landscape.
Exactly. We're doing business in a city with a rich and vibrant culture.
Very much so.
Dubai has its own set of customs, its own traditions, and respecting those nuances, well, it's not just about good etiquette, it's good business.
It's essential, really.
Yeah, and I feel like this is where sometimes, people coming from other places, they might stumble a little bit.
It's understandable. It's a new environment.
So what are some of those key customs, specifically around operating a restaurant, that we really need to be mindful of?
Well, Dubai and the UAE in general has specific customs, especially around Ramadan.
Right, of course.
And, I mean, this goes without saying, but serving halal food is non-negotiable.
Right, absolutely.
But when it comes to Ramadan, you have to be especially mindful of those fasting hours.
So do restaurants change their hours of operation during Ramadan?
A lot of them do. Some might close during the day, and then they might offer takeaway or delivery, but they do it discreetly. And then in the evening, you have the iftar, the breaking of the fast.
Right, right.
And a lot of restaurants will offer special iftar menus, and that can actually be a really significant source of revenue during the holy month.
Wow. So this is a whole other ballgame during Ramadan.
Yeah.
Talk about adaptability. And, that's actually a major theme that's running through all of this.
Yeah.
You have to be adaptable to thrive in Dubai's food scene.
100%. But it's not just about, cultural nuances.
Right.
Adaptability is also about staying ahead of the curve. This is a city that is constantly evolving.
It really is.
And that's something we should dive into after a quick break.
So we were just talking about adaptability.
Right.
And I think that's a perfect segue into the next big question I have, which is Dubai is constantly evolving.
Always.
So how do you pick a location that's not just hot today, but is going to still be thriving in 5-10 years?
Yeah.
What are some tips? How do you become a location scouting Nostradamus?
If I had a crystal ball, I would tell you. But in all seriousness, I mean, a lot of it comes down to research.
Okay.
Looking at Dubai's development plans.
Which are usually pretty easy to find.
Yeah, they're pretty transparent, which is good.
That's great.
And just seeing, okay, where are the new metro lines going in? Where are these massive new developments happening? Because those are all clues.
So, where's the smart money going?
Exactly. You want to see where the momentum is?
Right.
Take Dubai South, for example. That whole area, Expo 2020 site, that's primed for massive expansion.
Makes sense.
Or think about Al Quoz.
Okay.
It used to be very industrial, mostly warehouses.
Right.
But now it's rapidly becoming this really cool arts and culture hub.
It's trendy.
It is.
Yeah.
So if you're going for something with a little bit of an edge, a little bit different, Al Quoz in a few years could be amazing.
So it's about being ahead of the curve, finding those diamonds in the rough before everyone else does.
100%.
Okay.
But even beyond specific locations, you have to think about your concept itself.
Okay.
How adaptable is it? Can it evolve with Dubai? Because Dubai's trends, they change like the wind.
So it's not enough to just serve really delicious food.
It's not enough.
You also have to be ready to kind of pivot and adapt to whatever the Dubai dining scene throws at you.
Exactly. What if you don't have outdoor seating in your initial plan?
Right.
But then all of a sudden, it's all anyone wants.
Right.
A few years down the line.
Especially with the nice weather for part of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Can your concept accommodate that?
Interesting.
Or look at the rise of ghost kitchens.
Yeah, those are huge.
Huge. People want delivery. They want convenience.
It's only becoming more popular.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So are you positioned for that?
So you're thinking about these trends, you're future-proofing your business by being able to anticipate those shifts.
Exactly.
In consumer behavior, really.
Precisely. And speaking of future-proofing, there's one more trend I think we need to touch on.
Okay, what's that?
Sustainability.
Oh, for sure.
This is not going away anytime soon.
It really isn't.
Diners are more and more conscious about the environment, where their food is coming from, how it's prepared.
Yeah, you see a lot of restaurants now highlighting, if they're sourcing locally, if they have sustainable practices.
Absolutely, because it matters to people.
It does, yeah, for sure.
So if you can find a location that reinforces that commitment to sustainability.
Even better.
Even better. Maybe it's a neighborhood that's known for being green.
Yeah.
Or a community that has like a focus on sustainable living.
So it's like you're walking the walk, not just talking the talk. You're really living those values through your location.
And it all ties back to this idea of adaptability, right?
Right.
Being able to respond to how Dubai is changing.
Yeah, I mean, this has been amazing because we've covered so much ground today, from demographics
to consider
to tourist traps, hidden costs, this cultural piece, future-proofing.
It's a lot.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is.
But I feel like it all kind of circles back to this one essential ingredient.
Yeah.
Which is adaptability.
You got it. That's the key. It really boils down to this. What kind of future do you see for your restaurant in Dubai?
Ooh, I like that.
What kind of atmosphere are you trying to create? What kind of legacy do you want to build?
Those are great questions to ponder.
They are.
And on that thought-provoking note, it looks like we've reached the end of our deep dive.
It has been a pleasure chatting with you today.
This deep dive, I mean, we really have done a whirlwind tour of Dubai's restaurant scene.
A lot to cover.
From crunching numbers to, like, the cultural nuances.
So many factors.
But if there's one thing I want our listeners to take away from all of this, is that choosing the right location for your restaurant, it's about more than just finding a spot on a map.
It's so much bigger than that.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's about finding a space where your vision can come to life.
Where it can thrive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, finding a location that really complements your concept, that resonates with your ideal customer, that sets you up for success.
Sets you up for sustainable growth.
Exactly.
And Dubai is a city, let me tell you, of endless possibilities.
It's true.
And with careful planning, a little bit of that entrepreneurial spirit, I mean, your dream restaurant, it can become a reality.
It absolutely can.
So to our listener out there, best of luck on your restaurant journey.
Good luck.
Remember, stay adaptable, stay true to your vision, never stop exploring all that Dubai has to offer.
Have fun.
Yes, have fun.
Enjoy it.
This is your chance to share your passion for food with the world.
That's what it's all about.
Embrace the challenge, savor the journey, and who knows, maybe one day we'll be dining at your table.
I would love that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, happy cooking.